Hello, I'm Chantel and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make the best ever turkey pot pie. Are you ready to learn? Alright, so in our pot we have a pound of turkey, a cup of carrots, and a half a cup of celery. I saved the drippings from my turkey, so I'm going to put that over the ingredients and then fill the rest of the pot up with water to cover the ingredients and let that simmer for 15 minutes. Alright, so while our turkey is simmering, we're going to make the first of the two pie crusts. So we're going to add a cup and a half of flour and a half a teaspoon of salt to our bowl, mix that up a little bit, and then we're going to cube up and add our fourth of cup of butter. Then we're going to work this into the flour and salt until it looks like nice little pea size or sandy amounts of butter. And then once you get that nice and worked in, you can go ahead and add your fourth cup of vegetable shortening. And then you're going to want it to look the same way, small, fine like sand amounts. And this helps to get the flake into the pastry. Then we're going to take our half a cup of water, ice water, and add it a little bit at a time to our mixing bowl. And the ice water helps with the pastry. You don't have to use the full half a cup. You might not need a full half a cup. I did. So then you're going to take your dough onto your floured surface and you want to very gently work the dough in your hand just so that it comes together. You don't want to work the dough a lot. The more you handle the dough, the tougher the dough is going to be. So we want a nice delicate pie crust, so we're not going to handle it too much. Then we're going to roll it out with our rolling pin, and we want to make sure that it's big enough to come up the sides of our pie dish. I'm using a 9.5 inch pie dish, and as you can see, I measured a little bit, and I actually wish I would have come up a little bit more. And then you fold your pie crust into fourths like I did, a half and then a half, and it's easier to get into your pie plate this way. If you just want to drag it over, you totally can, but this is what I've learned, and it's easy for me to get the pie crust into the dish. And once you've got it into the dish, you just work it up the sides. Make sure it touches the sides of the bottom and up the sides. Now we're going to add a can of green beans and a can of mushrooms. We're then going to let this simmer for 5 minutes and then strain off all the liquid in a pasta strainer. Next, we're going to grab a saucepan, and to it we're going to add a third a cup of butter and a third a cup of chopped up onions. I used red onions. You can use whatever kind of onion you'd prefer. You could use a sweet onion or a yellow onion, whatever you want. And then we're going to stir this up, and we're going to let this cook down until the onions are nice and soft. That could be anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. If you like them a little crispier, you can leave it there. I let them boil a little bit, and then we're going to add our flour, which is a third a cup of flour. And then we're going to add our seasonings, which is a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt, pepper to taste, and then I like to add a teaspoon of herbes de Provence. You can use 2 teaspoons. The herbes de Provence really helps with the gamey flavor of the turkey. You're then going to cook it down and until it looks a little bit blonde so that we know that the flour is cooked off. We're then going to add our can of chicken broth. I like chicken broth. You could use vegetable broth. I just don't think that the turkey broth has a lot of flavor to it, so I prefer to use chicken broth. Let me know what you like to use in the comments below. Then we're going to go ahead and add our milk a little bit at a time, and this is 2/3 cup milk. And then we're going to stir this up and make sure it's all incorporated and let it simmer until it's thick, which is about 5 to 15 minutes depending on how hot you have your stove. Then you'll take your turkey mixture, your strained turkey mixture, and add it to the bottom pie crust that's in the pie tin. Then you're going to put your roux or sauce mixture over the top of your turkey, and then you're going to take your second pie crust and place it over the top of all of it. and I just folded it in fourths again, so a half and then a half. And then you just make sure that it's covered all over the pie dish. And what I like to do is cut off the excess to make it easier for myself. I don't like the extra pie um, crust because it doesn't cook as nice. So then I take it and I roll it. I roll the top and the bottom crust together to make sure it's nice and sealed. And then you take a fork and then you just take it along the sides so that it seals really nice. I did a little decoration with my extra pie crust with a little flour, and then I docked my pie crust so that it has an air vent. And then you go ahead and put this into the oven, 425 degrees for 40 to 55 minutes depending on your oven. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.